green transition will cause fundamental changes to the way we are operating currently. And that is the reality. I don't think so anybody will deny that. Methanol can vary as both bio and E. So in case when you're doing bio, definitely the scale and access is much larger.
Last month, I think, yes, in May, I was reading this article on the French energy giant Total Energies, and they have embarked on this project where they are deploying drones to take methane samples from their oil and gas installations so that they are able to control the emissions.
Good evening and welcome everybody. My name is Charan Singh. RealWear. Now RealWear is that little thing that you see that goes on a helmet. It has a camera, nothing too sophisticated. It has a 16 megapixel camera, and it gives you complete hands-free live view to whoever you want to send it to using the internet. Now imagine if this person is wearing a helmet and he's able to show you exactly what the problem is on the shore side as he's seeing on the ship. And that is what RealWear enables you to do.
Network connectivity package. So what I can understand is that it is available only within 20 kilometers offshore. So what happens at sea?
So this network connectivity package is meant when you're close to shore. When you're out at sea, this is going to be used by the vessel's own internet, whatever. But the idea is to bring down the cost of internet. So the connectivity package is supposed to have a local SIM card installed in it, or a global SIM card or whatever. So when you're close to shore, you can then use it. If you're out at sea, then you have to connect to the vessel's internet system.
This particular drone's tether length is about 40 meters.
40 meters.
And the flying time is about 45 minutes, before which it is brought down for cooling. And then I believe the cooling period is only about 5-10 minutes, and it can go up again.
I would like to ask Sanjeev one question to you. You mentioned that you can support owners for the EEDI and EXI calculations. Do you have the certificate approved by the IMO?
There's nothing required. In fact, any ship manager themselves can calculate it also. The approval is required or to be validated by the class, right? So the class will take that and validate it and issue a certificate. So we act as a consultant and provide that service for you to calculate it, verify it, look at it very carefully, that is there a possibility to actually gain some more mileage in certain areas. And then class will of course validate it and issue you the certificate.
Is this application and the drone has been already, for example, tested and approved by any of the class and IAX or not yet?
Class has a RIT certification for drone inspections. So as long as you have a RIT,
DNV have this
so
application.
you can have, by rope access or drones, as long as you have class approval, that is, there is no problem. Being a tethered drone, in fact, this particular drone that we use, one of the partners of development is actually DNV. So this one has a LiDAR drone on it, LiDAR sort of a gauge on it. LiDAR, what it does is, it actually 3D maps your tank as we are inspecting it. And if you form a baseline measurements, for example, you can actually compare two inspections, the LiDAR measurements, and using a software algorithm, we are even able to detect things like cracks and deformations between two different survey intervals. So this LiDAR is one of a kind, and I think Zener operates actually just one of its kind in Asia right now. We are using it out of Singapore.
Network connectivity package, so we understand this works over the coastal run, yes, but does it have the capability to be integrated with the ship's Wi-Fi?
Yes, absolutely. So like we just, the gentleman here asked a similar question, yes. So once you're further beyond the 25 km, 20 km range, depending on the shore strength, the shore signal strength, you can connect this to the ship's own internet, which you already have on board. But of course, the speed will then be limited with what you have. That is your bottleneck, right? And of course, cost-wise, that internet that you have on board is slightly more expensive than shore-based internet. But when used for emergencies, be it a medical emergency or a technical emergency, I think the cost factor over there will be a non-issue.
You want a 2 Mbps connection or 5 Mbps connection, which will make the RealWear much more fruitful to use, much more clearer to use. So the network connectivity package bridges that, and your ability to connect to most parts of your vessel is achieved with that. It's also a network extender, it's an encapsulator, right? Secondly, the ship's Wi-Fi network is using satellite communication. We are using shore-based, economical shore-based communications, which is amplified, right? It gets, with the high gain antennas, it gets amplified. So the net result is you're able to get a much more stable connection.
What is ITM doing towards complying with EEXI and CII?
We're doing the full EEXI calculations on the vessels, and the ships that are on compliant, we're looking at what we can do, and generally that's EPL. CII is a different matter altogether, and then when we get to future fuels, that's another matter. I like the name of this, the path to future-proof ships. And it got me thinking, I think the guys who fitted steam engines to sail ships thought they were future-proofing. And I think the guys who then came along and fitted diesel engines to old steamships thought they were future-proofing. There is no future-proofing ships, because the guys who 10 years ago, 15 years ago were building eco-class ships, they're not eco-class ships anymore, not according to this. They comply with EEXI, most of them, but they're still not complying with what's needed in the future. And there's my main worry with all of this is not the technology, but the human element. And I've said this many times before. I'm sure that when, if I use the example of when we changed to steam from sail, that was a huge technological learning curve for people. And we've got the same thing now. When we changed from sail to steam, it was one technology.
Digitalization is one of the key aspects that will take you into the future when you're looking at. So this is going to help you digitalize your inspection. Everything will be archived and warehoused digitally. Photographs, videos of an inspection in a tank, you can cross-reference it with the last inspection. And machine learning and AI will actually be able to discern which coating is actually poorer as compared to the 6 months inspection earlier by the ship staff. It doesn't have to be an expert, because it doesn't take an expert to handle this. You could have a ship staff, there is a company which has 60 assets. Each ship has been provided with one. It's an offshore, of course, vessel. Each ship has been provided with one. Now they're carrying out the inspections digitally, archiving it, and of course, in future, they're going to use machine learning for trending.
I think that this is absolutely fantastic technology, and I think it's really good. And actually seeing the images that you had of looking at the things on board the vessel and streaming that back to, maybe you've got an engine problem, you want to stream it back to MAN or ABB or one of the technicians. I think that's very, very useful.
How effective are these drones? And have you done any gap analysis between on-site inspection and the inspection carried out by the drones to ensure that the drones are equivalent somehow to on-site inspection? Because the maritime industry is lacking this kind of data, so they can move forward with this, I would say, this remote inspection and these nice gadgets, in fact. Thank you very much.
In my opinion, and I'm a little biased towards human beings, I feel you cannot replace a human being. The advantage of the drone is, maybe it's a 35-meter old tank, and to go and inspect it, either you raft it or have a rope access guy on it. Of course, then also you will, even a rope access guy, because, no way I'm climbing on top of that bulkhead with my size. So which means, again, I'm dependent on the camera fitted onto the rope access guy's helmet or staging. It's the guy at the end of the video image who's going to interpret the data as well of what he's watching. And maybe at the end of the day, after we watch something, we still will not be comfortable till we go up there and watch it ourselves. The idea is instead of doing it in 500 locations, we can do it in 3. And that's where the time saving will come in.
Do we have a night visions with this?
It has lights, but I think by and large, most of the cameras that are coming in these days, they have a lot of night vision ability. They have low light observation. So, and inside the ballast tanks or whatever, it's pretty much dark. So it has a lot of very good LED. And so when we are focusing and measuring, so it is actually quite well lit. Because the drone itself has a lot of LED lighting on it. So for RealWear, yes, it does have a small amount of light, but it cannot really replace. You will need to illuminate inside a tank or something. A RealWear may need additional light source because it has a very small focus light, the RealWear.
Today's numerical calculations are done by supercomputers. And also the operating profile. When you design a propeller, you have designed it, especially for container vessels, you have designed it for the operating profile of speeds of 26 knots or whatever is the operating profile, right? So that propeller was ill-designed. So today you have to change it. You will have better tools available to evaluate what would be much more suitable for the existing after EPL. Where will be your operating line?
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, JD. Thanks, Charan, and thanks, Sanjeev, for fending off all those questions. Yeah.
Purpose of the IMRS UAE branch is to work within the regional marine community to promote the scientific development of marine engineering, science, and technology, providing opportunities for the exchange of ideas and practices and upholding the status, standards, and knowledge of marine professionals in the Middle East.
Lakshman did not hesitate to say the correct platform and the appropriate platform is the IMRS UAE branch. So we look for people such as Lakshman to have meetings like this. All you need to do is put in the good word. Come on, Chief.
I think everybody should give Nikhil a round of applause because he works tirelessly for IMRS. So well done, Nikhil.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're going to keep those doors open, yeah? We're keeping those doors open so that you can keep one ear open. And make sure that if you see your name coming up here, then you come into the room to collect your prize. So we're going to have a raffle draw. I hope, thanks to Joe, I hope everybody has dropped one business card into the bowl, right? There are rules over here, by the way, yeah? So, business card, only the name of the winner, yeah? You can't say, no, my friend was there 2 hours back and now he's gone. So, only the name of the business card. And if your name is called again, not only do you give your gift back, but you sponsor it for the next event.